welcome to Cultivating a Prosperous Medspa Culture.
Hello, everybody.
This is Brooke Birmingham. In case you're with us for the first time, I'm Dory, and she's going to be assisting me going over this great content to help you become more successful and build a more prosperous business. Absolutely. So this event is sponsored by Global Medspa Society, which is a private Facebook group. Would love for you to go and join it. So you can go to globalmedspasociety.com and join. Also sponsored by MBU, Medspa Biz University, and MD Business Advisors. So welcome everybody. We're so happy you're with us. And we love for you to connect with us. We are actually live on Instagram today and also on Zoom. And we have Miss Jasmine, who's helping us with the questions on Zoom, and Tim on Instagram. And John is shooting our video today. So
got the whole team.
Great job, team. Well, not the whole team, some of it.
A lot of the team.
So let's go ahead and take a poll, because we love to know who the audience is that's with us today. So the first thing we would love to know is, do you have a team currently? And if yes, if you would put in the chat, how many team members do you currently have? We would love to know. Then the other thing is, how would you rate your culture? Is it excellent? Is it good? Is it average? And then, would you like to learn more on how to... We have some additional sounds.
We're getting a little feedback from our Instagram Live.
Yes, so... the third question is, would you like to learn more on how to transform your current culture into a prosperous one? So we would love to hear from you and tell us exactly where you fit in with some of these questions. Sounds good?
So type them into us, either on Instagram, on Zoom. Like we said, we have Jasmine here to help with that.
So it's always nice. But before we start, I want to tell you a little bit about Brooke, because she has never done a Global Medspa Society webinar with me right here from the stage. So I have to brag a little bit about her and have me introduce her to you all so you get to know her. So I've known Brooke now for many years. She was actually a member of ours before I recruited her. See, you always should be recruiting. So she worked for a med spa in Sarnia, Canada, with Dr. Omani, who was a member, still a member for many years. And she ran the entire operation for him, and she took it from doing only a few $100,000 a year to over $3 million a year, and they did that in literally short 3 years. So they went 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, and she was able to help Dr. Omani build a practice that had also, they just exceeded actually 600 members, generating 6 figures a month. So she built truly a great team. And the reason I wanted her to be here with you today is because we're talking about team culture. Well, she mastered that. So if you need help in building a great team and implementing the business model that we teach, she's definitely your girl.
Thank you, Dory. Super excited to be here and to be with the Global Medspa Society.
So we should tell them how you ended up here, though. How did you end up here?
A fairy came and dropped me off to you.
So one day, I guess she wanted to move to Florida.
I needed to get out of the cold.
She wanted to leave Canada. And Dr. Omani sent me an email saying, can you help Brooke find a job with one of your clients? I'm like, why? He's like, she wants to move to Florida. I'm like, move to Florida? I'm not going to help her find a job. I want her to come and work with us. And that's how Brooke ended up here.
And the rest is history.
Yeah, so literally, actually, she's been here almost a year now.
Over a year.
Yeah.
Just over.
Over a year, wow.
Just over.
Time flies when you're having fun. So the honeymoon is not over yet.
No, it's not. We're still going strong.
All right, so share with them what we're going to talk about today.
Yes, so as Dory said, it's all about prosperous culture, so team culture. So what is that? What does that look like, and why is it important? Why is it such a game changer for your business and your team and your clients? Some of the challenges that you can face. So as a leader in the med spa, or even if you're a team member, there are some challenges that we can face when it comes to the workplace culture. And then we're going to go over, how do you build that winning and prosperous culture? So what are some of the things we need to look out for? What are some of the things that we can work on to build that culture? And then the tools. So again, we always like to give you the how and not just the what. And as we mentioned, we love to be interactive. So please send in your questions either through, and we'll have some time at the end as well. As we mentioned, Jasmine is here and we will answer them as we go.
Yeah, very exciting. So how did we do on these polls, Jasmine?
So 100% have a team.
Nice.
Everybody's got a team. Awesome.
Yeah.
And so would they rate their culture? A lot of them say they could use a refresher.
Nice. Okay, well, you're in the right place. Good. And did they say how many team members they have?
No, we can ask that polling
All right.
question soon.
So yeah, that would be nice to know how many
How
team
big
members.
or small the teams are.
Yeah, exactly. So before we dive into all the great content, I just want to give you an idea what's new with MD Business Advisors and everything that we're doing here to help you grow your business. So the exciting news, and the most exciting news, is we have a new MBU platform. So we have a brand new e-learning center for Medspa Biz University. Our members are already mentioning how great the new platform is and how user-friendly it is. So if you have not been there yet, you should request a tour so we can show you MBU. And then the other thing we're doing is we're moving away from inspiration management, the brand, since mostly now all of our clients are medical spa owners. So we're focusing more on MD Business Advisors rather than inspiration management. So if you see that switch, you'll know it's still the same company, but we're focusing more on medical spas than anything else right now. And the third is that we're always coming up with new content for you. And we have the Become Published seminar coming up. So you could be like beautiful Michelle Landry. Look how pretty she is. She has the most beautiful eyes, actually. And she's from Louisiana. She's been a member for many years. And she came last year to our book writing seminar and was able to publish her book and totally help position her as the expert that she is. And she's growing her business like that because she coaches with Brooke. So you want to tell them?
She's about 35% year over year and continues to grow every month. And yeah, she's been doing amazing. So her book is still, you know, doing great things for her in lead generation and with her positioning in Louisiana. So we're really proud of her.
So we're excited to host that. It's coming up in June. So if you too want to improve your positioning, make sure you join us for the next book writing seminar. So you can go to becomepublished.com to learn a little bit more about it. So let's start, Brooke, with what is a prosperous culture and why is it important to their business?
So when I think of culture, it's something that you can't see or you know, feel. It's not your dress code. It's not the look of the spa. It's something that's like invisible. So it's the feeling that your team has. It's their values. It's, you know, the way they act when you're not around, or the decision making that they do every day. It's just sort of that, like you said here, it's like that invisible engine behind the choices that they make, their performance, the guest experience. So it's really that energy that you have amongst each other that's going to translate not only among team members and the decisions that they make and how they treat each other, but to your clients as well. So
it's knowing that everybody knows their role and they know exactly what they need to do, and it just
it's kind of like unspoken rules or values because it doesn't need to be told. It's just understood based on the roles and responsibilities and the values and mission statement that we give the business.
So you might want to take a look at that and see. We want to share with you some statistics that gives you an idea of how people feel about the actual culture in your business. And according to some statistics, 88% of employees believe that strong culture equals business success. And that is really key to what you're trying to do in your med spa.
Absolutely. I can think in my own experience when I was taking over a new med spa, the culture was not the best prior to, and the results weren't the best, and the workday wasn't as smooth. You know, people weren't as clear with what was expected of them on a day by day. And once we clarified that, it's like things just became easier, the results came quicker, the guests were happier, so I can definitely relate to that.
Well, that's why the Clarity hiring system we wanted to include in here for you is because if you start with clarity if you start with the team knowing their position description, their expectations, the way they're going to get compensated, how they're going to be measured with certain KPIs, all these things are setting up your team in the proper way to begin with. So that way you don't have these, I didn't know this was my job. You want me to do what? Are you kidding me? No, this is not what I signed up for. So you want to avoid all these things because those are cancers that will kill your culture in your business. So it's very important to pay attention to that. And if everybody is clear on what they need to do, then your culture will become super, super prosperous. And that's really what we want to do.
Absolutely.
So, and then the other thing, if you want to share with them, I think is very important.
Yeah. So I was going to say for the, the leaders that may be on the call with us, the Medspa owners, we know that profitability, revenue, that's super important, as it should be to everybody, but especially when you're the one, running the show, and culture goes hand in hand with that. Although it's not something, we may not be talking about sales techniques tonight or something like that, but it's just as important, because engaged teams are 21% more profitable. And if you think about it, think about working with team members that are like engaged and excited and happy.
Yeah.
They're happy, they're willing to put in the work, they're willing to put in the time, they care about the results. So, investing in your team culture is going to help your bottom line.
Yep. So let's do it. So
Absolutely.
I love that. Culture equals profitability. So remember that.
Absolutely.
Yes. So there's a quick little audit that you can take to see where you are now. And I would love to get some feedback from you, those of you who are with us live right now. Brooke was mentioning values. So do you have values for your team, and are they practicing them on a daily basis? So that's very important, especially when you're not around. Like, what is the team doing when you are not around? That's how you know that you have a great culture, right? What do they say when the cat is away?
When the cat's away, the mice will play. As long as the mice playing means doing their jobs and, going about their day as they should, that's great.
Yeah. So how did you handle negativity? Like, every team has their moments where people are they get bent out of shape, their ego get crushed, or they don't feel good. So how do you handle that?
There's a few things that come to mind. First is I went to MBU and I went to the eye care coaching, because I feel like it's really important to be able to coach people, your team members, and work through those situations. So that really helped me. And just squashing the negativity. Especially as a leader, you are in charge of the culture. You set the tone. So you can't play into it. Like, I was not part of the gossiping, if there were any, or, the complaining, or if anything, I want to bring light to it. I want to hear what's being said, and then quickly handle it, whether it's through coaching or having a team meeting. Communication is key in that situation.
For sure. And I remember you guys would come to your coaching session with, your whole agenda, team issues sometimes, and we would work through them and come up with new rewards. Like, I remember one specifically, your injector was requesting more money, and we came up with some great rewards for them. So those are the communication methods, I think, that are very key. But I would love for you to do a quick little audit, see where you are with your culture right now. Get that feedback. Are you praising the team when they deserve it, or are you correcting them when correction is needed? So you being the leader is like you being the coach of a football team or a soccer team or whatever you are coaching. If you're sitting in the office and the team is doing their own thing, you can't correct it. So I think that's one of the things that you did so well, is you were out and you watched and you directed and you fine-tuned and you coached, and that's how you develop a great culture.
I had my own office as manager, and I took myself out of it because I'm like, I feel closed off. I need to know what's going on out there. So walking the floor, or if you can sit at the guest relations area as a manager or as a leader, do it. But you have to be involved, and you have to have know
gotta keep your eye on the ball.
Exactly. For sure.
Yeah. So let's dive into the most common challenges. I'm sure you could relate to all of these things when you were going
I mean, if any of my team members are on, you guys were all great all the time. But definitely, we're human and we're dealing with different personalities. So gossip and drama, that could be a big one. Or
especially since we have a lot of women in our industry, and sometimes having a man in the mix is a good thing.
Yeah.
But when you get a bunch of women together, all kinds of providers, whew,
Yep.
watch out.
But it is possible to have a great culture with a bunch of women. You just have to listen to what we're about to talk about. Listen and talk less. Yeah, definitely. Poor communication and unclear roles, I think, is the biggest culprit, personally, to poor work culture, which is going to result in things like high turnover and burnout. Lack of accountability and performance measures, of course. So, do they know what's expected of them? Do they know when they're doing a good job? Are we reporting back? Are we doing coaching? Are we taking the time to check in? Because if not, that's going to sneak up on you and become an issue. People will feel unappreciated. You'll have no idea. Or they feel like they're doing a great job when really they need work. So that's not good at all for the workplace culture. And then definitely the shared vision or team alignment. That's important, and that's where I think of obviously coming up with, we're going to talk about it in a minute, your mission and your values and being clear of what our goal is every day. But then doing team meetings. The amount of teams that I coach, and they don't really have time.
They don't have
meetings.
structure.
Yeah, and for them it's like we can't, our schedules are full, which that's great. That's a good problem to have. But just as important as it is to be with a client and create, make that revenue or have that consultation, it's just as important to invest in having your monthly meeting.
Well, this was one of the 7 habits of highly effective people with Stephen Covey. He talks about sharpening the saw, and he tells a story in that book about a guy working so hard trying to cut down this tree, and he's like taking him all day, and he's just still sawing down the tree. And then finally this guy comes up to him and he says, "Hey man, you've been at this for a whole day. Why don't you take a break?" He's like, "Take a break. Don't you see I'm busy?" He's like, "Yeah, but you need to sharpen your saw." So had he taken the time to go sharpen his saw and then came back, he would have been able to cut the tree a lot faster. And that's sometimes what happens in your places. You think that you're so busy that you can't take time to sharpen the saw, and that's a big mistake that you're making. So you have to take the time to study, to learn. Again, just like they do in sports. You have a coaching team, you have the offense, defense, you have the playing, the watching the plays, you have the coach helping you, you're fine-tuning, you're practicing. And if you don't do that in your own place, you're not going to be able to generate the success that you could be generating otherwise.
And I think it's important, even if you feel like the team, oh no, we're fine, we don't need a meeting, but sometimes it's for your team. Like your team wants to feel heard, or they want to have that time of togetherness because we are so busy during the day doing other things. So even team building experiences or excursions are a great thing to have. So take the time for your team.
So I would love to give you a challenge to create a culture statement for your business. If you don't have that already, you really should. So I'm giving you a little example of what a culture statement should be all about. Actually, I'm going to have Brooke go over it with you. But really take the time to create that and then share it with the team. I think it'll be a great asset to you.
So these should be things that every time you go into work or go into the med spa every day, you should be able to look at this and it will give you a clear idea of what we're doing here. So, something that's client-centered could be care with respect and attention to detail, continuously raising the bar. So think about it. If you're having a complicated situation with a client, you could just look at that and think, okay, I need to raise the bar. So what can I do to make the situation better? Results and revenue, focus could be focused on the client's transformation and the business's growth. Empowered, ongoing training, recognition, and leadership. That's where MBU would come in and help with that. Working as one, upholding shared vision and values. So again, these are just examples of a culture statement. So I would suggest, like Dory said, get together either with your leadership or maybe leadership first to kind of help guide that, and then your team, and figure out what is the most important thing that we're focused on. And all of these are important, but let's pick one or two and then come up with a short sentence that we can then, have the team be involved in creating, and then maybe put it on a wall somewhere in the team lounge or...
Because really that's who creates the culture, by the way, is the team members. And if the culture is not good, then you need to look at the team. Like, why isn't it good? And if the culture is good, again, you look at the team and you recognize it. So I think that's an important thing for you to really look into.
Absolutely.
So how to build a winning and a prosperous culture. So we're going to go over 7 steps with you. So I hope you have a pen and a paper so you can write them down and start getting some traction out of this. So the first thing really is defining your mission, vision, and values, and the statement that we just spoke about. You know, these sometimes may sound like a cliche, but they are not, because without them, you have no idea how to really share what you want the team to do. You gotta have those, and you have to share them with the team so they know where you're trying to get to, so they can help you get there. The other thing that I think is very important is, you know, sometimes people hire only for skills.
Yeah.
And I don't care, frankly, about skills. I care more about attitude, drive, commitment, loyalty, because skills, if they have some skills, you can always teach them higher skills. So, but if they don't have a right attitude, and they're always frowning, or they have bad energy, or they're slow.
I feel like I coach on this all the time because, you know, finding good team members is hard. And I think we get too focused on, okay, what's on their resume? What experience do they have? When really we need to like meet with them, speak to them, figure out what drives them, what kind of energy they give off. Like Dory said, that's what we're here for. We can help train your team members. We have MBU. You know, as long as they have the basics down for the role, of course we can't be hiring anyone to be doing injectables, but you can't teach a good attitude. You can't train somebody into, you know, having that good work ethic, personality. So that's a big one.
And the other thing we see sometimes missing is the proper onboarding, like being able to truly set them up for success. You know, having the department manuals, and again, the position descriptions, commitment agreement, all the things to help them succeed, set them up for success is key. But what happens, you know, sometimes we're in such desperate mode to hire someone, we go after the pulse method. You go,
you have a pulse, so you can do it.
Oh, they're breathing. Come on in. You can have a job with us. You don't want to do that. That's not a good idea. So you definitely need to take the time. And I really love the fact that you need to. There's a spider on my paper. It's like, where did that come from? Oh, that was funny.
I'm trying not to freak out over here.
It was a little baby spider, don't worry.
I think we have some questions coming in.
Okay.
Great timing.
Okay, so on this issue of culture, the question comes in from Sarah: how do we make the team live this culture statement consistently?
Yeah, that's a great question. So you set them up properly from the beginning, like what we're just talking about. So if you utilize the Clarity hiring system, all the HR tools that we have for you, the selection, how to select the right person, making sure that they are super clear on everything you would like them to do, the contribution, the value contribution that they're going to make. All those things start from the very beginning, from the hiring process. Now, if you already have a team, we've done it to where we launched what we call a fresh start for your team. And literally, you can re-pass out position descriptions, commitment agreements, like the whole new way we want to do business now. Almost like have them re-interview for their position. And then to answer the question about the consistency, if you have that clarity, and if you have the cultural statement, and if you have the vision, mission, and values, and you're providing them with the training, the expectations, the rewards, the compensation, and it all ties back to them doing a great job, that's how you get consistency, because you're helping them fulfill their own purpose, and then you're rewarding them accordingly. So that makes a huge, huge difference. Great question.
Well said, Dory.
I come up with them every once in a while.
Every now and then. She does pretty good.
Yeah, so onboarding is key. I would highly recommend go, if you're not a member of MBU, go to medspabizu.com and reserve a tour so we can show you all the different tools that you have available. And the other key thing about consistency is those KPIs here, the having the scorecard, and then the KPIs that go with it. So you gotta know what the key performance indicators are for every single position within your place. And again, we're measuring that on continuous basis. That's one thing that Brooke did so well. Like we were watching these volume per guest like a hawk. Like every time she would come to a meeting, she would already have all her team numbers, how much we've grown since the same month last year. Like she did it all the proper way, following the model that we teach.
Yeah. So again, guys, I can't say it enough, but the reason why I was so successful in these things is because of MBU. That's where I found all the information. So just go into MBU if you haven't already, and you'll find all the info there. And if you're not part of our, membership program or a member with us, then at least book a tour of it and see what we can help you with, because there's lots in there.
Yeah.
So other things you want to do for sure is recognize and reward the behavior as well. So that's another thing that I like to think we were really good at. We worked very hard, but we had fun when we needed to as well. So team building, if we accomplished something great, we would take the team out. And it doesn't always have to include, spending a ton of money. It can be something in the spa, or just people like to be recognized and feeling appreciated when they do a great job. And on the flip side of that, sorry, did you want to add something?
No.
Good. On the flip side of that, when there's toxicity or negativity, you need to eliminate it, and eliminate it quickly. And I learned that the hard way in the beginning, because I like to think I can see the best in people. So I give everyone a lot of chances. And a lot of people are out that are med spa owners are like that, because they're usually like caretakers and they care about their team. But you can't, like we said earlier, you cannot teach a good work ethic or personality. And sometimes if they can't get on the bus, they need to get
off the bus.
Exactly.
Jim Collins, Good to Great, another great book.
And then coach and train consistently. So, this is something that you have to work on all the time. So the one-on-one coaching through the months, the team trainings, like that's all very, very important. You can't just come to work one day and say, this is what we're going to do, this is our team culture, and then walk away. You have to work on it constantly and check in.
For sure. Love it. You're so good. All right, so let's move on to the fourth thing, which is the methods and tools that you have available to have a prosperous culture. One big message I want to give you is this.
MBU.
What does it say?
Don't reinvent the wheel.
Don't reinvent the wheel. And that's what a lot of people, I think, make a big mistake, is they sit and they try to figure things out on their own.
Yeah.
When for the past 24 years, we have perfected the business model that we teach, and it's proven effective, then all you have to do is take the information from MBU and implement it. So it's not that complicated. This is not rocket science.
Dory's favorite sentence.
This is super easy business to run, really, if you follow the model that we teach. Seriously. I mean, all you have to do is go and watch some YouTube videos of all the great testimonials that we've had over the years, and you'll be able to see that what we teach definitely works. So there's no reason for you to reinvent the wheel at all. So we have a saying here that we have a module for that.
We all need shirts.
Because literally we have a module for everything that you might come up with, that you come across or you need help with. And if we don't have it, you need to tell us, because more likely we'll come up with it.
We'll make it. Exactly.
We'll make it for you. But I really want to encourage you to come and take a tour of all the different tools that we have. But I just wanted to at least share with you some things that, again, that helped Brooke reach the success level that her and her team reached, because they really applied every one of these steps. And I'm going to have her share them with you.
Yeah. So I think the common denominator here is a lot of touch points and communication. So it starts with every day with your daily success planning meeting, and then weekly, team meetings. If you're not all getting together every morning at that meeting, because sometimes we have people that start at different hours, we should try and at least do it on a weekly basis. And then that monthly one-on-one check-in. So that would be, whether it's behavior or performance or a little bit of both, but we need to be checking in with our team members at least on a monthly basis. And then your performance scorecards. So again, the numbers are so important. When we give people goals to achieve, we have to let them know how they're doing on the way there. So, you know, my team always knew exactly what their VPG was. And if I didn't have it updated on the backboard, they would chase me down.
Some people may not know what VPG is. So volume per guest is what we teach, is the philosophy of which we measure. And we have an entire method to measure volume per guest for service, for retail. And then we have a compensation model that also ties to the volume per guest. So if you're not familiar with that, you can go on YouTube. There's all kinds of videos there that you can watch. While you're there, go ahead and subscribe and ring the bell so you can get noticed. And Brooke is doing actually a lot of videos. She's doing the newsletter every single month now for us.
Trying.
So, and soon I'm going to disappear and she's going to be sitting here by herself.
So hopefully you guys like me because I'm here to stay.
We would love to get some feedback, actually. She's lovely and smart, so it's all good.
Thank you, Dory. So to continue on our list here, we have some culture agreements. So we in MBU, we have lots of HR tools that you can look up. A recognition program, this is so important. So this is the fun part, you know, the key performance indicators. If you don't know what those should be, we have tons of information on that and different ways to reward your team members. And then, of course, again, the culture starts at the top. So your leadership development is so important. And, you know, myself, when I came in as the manager in the Medspa Biz University was truly my go-to. Because, you know, they're looking to me.
Friend.
Yeah, it was my best friend. If I had to find anything, whether it's coaching with the eye care coaching, or if I have a team member who's not recommending things properly, I have peak performers for that. So that leadership development can be done through that platform.
So do it.
Yeah, lots of things to establish and accomplish, but you guys can do it and implement.
Tim, you had
your
comment?
hand up.
Yeah, Paula from Colombia says, "Hello, Dory. Nice to see you."
Oh my gosh, Paula! Wow, I haven't heard that name in a lot. I was in Colombia, actually. I went and saw Paula in Colombia, in Bogota, years ago. Oh my gosh, I spoke at a conference. It was a huge conference, and I remember that so vividly because everybody in the audience, of course, was Spanish, and here I am standing at the stage. And they didn't
Speaking Spanish?
They didn't have simultaneous translation. So I'm standing there and I had to, like, you know, I'm speaking, I have to keep going. So I had to stop with every phrase so they can translate. So that was like the most difficult.
That is so not Dory.
Let me tell you, it was probably the most difficult. And it was like, I don't know how many thousands of people. This was like a huge auditorium. Gosh. So, Paula, oh my gosh, send me an email. We'd love to catch up with you. It's been a long time. Thank you for being with us today. Great to hear from you.
That's so nice.
Yeah, bringing back
a blast from the past.
I know. My global travel.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Questions?
Yes. What are the KPI that are going to indicate if we're on track culturally and with our team performance? The question is, so what KPI or scorecards should I use to track culture and team performance?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I mean, there are several things you can track. One is definitely the guest satisfaction, because if you have a good retention rate, that means the people are feeling the love and the care when they come to your place, and the team is doing what they need to do. I would have to say that that's probably one of the biggest drivers. And then like teamwork, team communication, how they're actually behaving towards each other is something that you would notice right away, whether somebody is getting along with another person or not.
For sure.
And then, of course, your typical KPIs, you know, are we asking for referrals? Are we getting referrals? So if you're getting referrals, again, that means the people are happy. The culture is good for the guest as well as the team as well as you. So it's a nice unity that you're...
Reviews is another one I think that's important because even the way you ask for that review could... You know, you could ask, like, what do you think of our team here? And that would directly, you know, respond to the culture that you guys... Because culture is great for your team, like we talked about, but it's going to pass on to how your clients feel. So if if you can get some reviews about your team culture, that's going to be a good indicator as well.
Yeah. So I think if you want to start like with one thing, what do you think would be the one thing that somebody can do?
One KPI?
No, like one cultural,
one cultural
transition to be more prosperous. What would you say?
For me, I'm all about the check-ins and the meetings personally. So if you're not doing a monthly team meeting, you need to, and you need to structure it. I would always come prepared with an entire agenda, and I kind of always had a similar format, but there was always a section in there for, you know, just team chatter. Like I want to hear what's going well, what's not, what are we happy about, let's and that's going to help build up that team culture.
Like a brainstorming.
Exactly.
Almost.
Yeah, because they feel
they
heard.
need to be heard. Yes. Yeah, I think that has a big impact on the culture. And then not micromanaging, I think, is huge, because you know your team should know what they need to do.
Yeah.
And if you just show them and then let them go do it, you're gonna tell whether they're swimmers or
And I think that comes hand in
sinking.
hand with the one-on-one coaching personally, because that's where I would, you know, everyone knows their roles and responsibilities once you deliver that and they agree to it. And in that coaching, you can give people like specific responsibilities or see what they thrive in and give them some accountability, and that's going to help them either take it on and own it, or maybe show you that there needs
Well, I
to be
think the
some work
one
done
thing
there.
that you guys did that was so, I mean, perfectly implemented is like Dr. Omani would come to our coaching meeting. Brooke would have an agenda of everything. So she's talking about coaching the team.
Yes.
But you also need to coach the leadership. So everybody needs coaching. So when she would come to these meetings, she was taking away things that are going to help her implement a prosperous culture.
Absolutely.
So it's a continuation of education between the leadership coming to us for education and then her going and passing it on to the team. I think that was, it's definitely worth stating.
100%, for sure. Yeah, that was definitely, I wouldn't have had the ideas without that. So, and the guidance, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she worked for a very difficult, like he had high expectations. He was like me.
I tend to always work for people like you.
Yeah. We're such a pain in the butt.
No. You're drivers. We talked about
have such
this.
high expectations. That's the thing. And Dr. Omani is the same way. You know, like, come on, Brooke. What do you got going?
Yeah. Everything
What
needs to be done
are we
yesterday.
doing? How much are we up for the year?
Yeah. The numbers, the numbers, the numbers. But hey, we were better for it.
That's right. Yeah. So that's what we have. So hopefully you guys will reserve a tour for MBU and let Brooke do a complimentary coaching session. We only do about 5 of those a week. So if you want to hurry up and go and reserve one, you can just scan the QR code and be able to reserve a tour and a coaching session so we can help you.
Absolutely.
We'll take one more question and then wrap it.
We can answer the rest via email.
Yeah, we have one question that's, how do you get the buy-in? How do you get the buy-in when rolling out new values or a culture statement?
Yeah. How do you get buy-in?
I think that buy-in is making the team a part of the decision making. So don't rule like a dictator, but work for your team, not just have them work for you.
Yeah.
So
you know how when you're married, ladies, I'm going to speak to the ladies, and your mom tells you, let your husband think that it was his idea.
it's true.
You have to let the team think it's their idea.
Absolutely.
It's the same thing. So what Brooke is saying is absolutely how it should be. You need to have a team meeting and discuss things that you would like to see improve, and then toss some seeds here and there. And then before you know it, they're the ones who are making the recommendations.
Yeah.
And then you'll fine-tune them a little bit, and then you have buy-in because they came up with it.
And
even though you know that that's what you wanted them to come up
Right.
with to begin with.
You're guiding them to the
guiding
answer.
them to the answer.
Yeah, for sure. And I want to say, once you have this team culture accomplished, which it can take time, it could take sometimes getting rid of some team members. Like, I didn't just take over and it was all fine and dandy. It took a lot of work and training and studying. But once you have that accomplished, it's so strong that from that point on, if you need to implement anything else with your team, something new, a new goal, a change in process, staying open later, like all of these things we had to do, and it was easier to implement that with a team because our culture was so great.
Yep.
They didn't have their back up against the wall. They were cooperative. They understood our mission and our values. So yeah, all I can say is it's great to work with a team with good culture, because all the things you have to do afterwards are going to come much easier.
Yes, for
So
sure.
put in the work now so your life is easier later.
Yeah. Sounds good. All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for being with us. Make sure you go and join the Global Medspa Society private Facebook group. And make sure you scan the QR code and reserve a tour to the new MBU. And if you have any other questions, you can always email them to us.
Absolutely.
And let us help you. So we're offering you that nice complimentary coaching session. And if I were you, I would want to pick her brains. So I don't know about you. So go ahead and do it. All right, you guys. God bless. And until next time,
Stay
inspired. Bye now.